Everybody can see the screen okay? Otherwise we can just leave the center row off, that's fine. You guys can see it okay? Yeah. We're good. Anybody else down there? We can get started or? Okay. Good to go? All right, morning everybody. My name is Brad Eckwielen. I'll be the presenter for you guys this morning. Got a lot of information to cover, so hopefully we can get through most of it. Plan is to take a break around 10 o'clock-ish or so, and then wrap things up by 11:30, and then have time for questions. And then lunch will be provided after that. So without further ado, we'll get started. This is me in my comfortable realm, which is I used to install antennas. I lost track after in excess of 10,000 some installs. Not only television antennas, but amateur radio antennas. I'm also amateur radio operator. Hold a general class license for that. And installed CB antennas, you name it. If there was an antenna that was made, I think I installed it. And now I'm doing this stuff, which I enjoy. And I love being able to train and give you a little bit of what I've learned over the past 40-some years of installing antennas and messing around with antennas. There's our agenda. Significant market and spectrum changes coming. Any of you guys aware of what's happening currently right now with the spectrum changes? I see a lot of deer in the headlights looks. Okay, that is a broadcast tower. For any of you who are familiar with those or not familiar with those, these antennas here would most likely barely fit in this room. They don't look that big, but when it's up 1,000 feet, they look kind of small. So that antenna there would go from this end of the room all the way to that end of the room and probably about this big around. They're massive, massive transmitting antennas. And there's a reason I have this photograph in here, because it comes into play later on with what's going to be happening in the future. Significant market changes. Many of you probably have already experienced this, or if you haven't experienced it yourself, others who have called are tired of paying the high prices for cable and satellite. And they're changing the way they watch TV via antennas and internet. There's a large and growing opportunity for our dealers to significantly increase sales and profits with the installation of antennas. Now, I'm not sure what you guys do, if you're all antenna installers, some are satellite, not sure, but there's a tremendous market and a growing market for the need of over-the-air antennas to be installed. We estimated, and this actually came from different sources on the internet, about a year ago the estimate was 22% of over-the-air users currently. The last paragraph, pay television continues a long-term decline according to Nielsen. The number of homes with pay TV declined 1.1 million in the second quarter of 2014 to 100.9 million. Okay, that's a lot of people. But since 2010, it shrunk 5 million from quarter of 2010 till 2014. So those statistics continue to widen. 28% of all households with the head of a household under the age of 35 use an antenna instead of pay TV subscription. So not all are turning to streaming, but cost is a major factor. 1 in 5 young households have never had a TV subscription. They don't even know what it is. That's changed significantly. Mobile is the preferred screen for watching, streaming, or downloading video. 24% of all U.S. adults and 42% of smartphone owners watching downloaded video each week. But television is still king. Viewers of all ages getting the majority of their video entertainment and news from live programs using DVRs. Older viewers are reduced to actual time watching TV and using DVRs. Threats to cable television will increase as the bundle starts to unravel and focused program packages emerge. With the emergence of internet television and the rising cost of traditional TV packages, fewer people are purchasing traditional bundles from providers such as Verizon, Dish, DirecTV, Comcast, Charter, whoever you have in this area. This continues to increase. 2.9% of U.S. pay TV consumers stated they are very likely to cancel services in the next 12 months. That may go even higher once I clue you into what's going on. So, free air HDTV broadcast transmitters. FCC change is coming. The FCC has future plans to reduce TV digital spectrum. You guys remember what happened in 2009? It's going to happen all over again. This will result in more VHF high band usage. DigiTenna is the only product that does both easily and is well positioned for this change. 98% of the USA is using UHF and VHF high band. Low band has not been very conducive for digital reception. Too much impulse and electrical noise. It just raises havoc with the digital. That's where you get all that pixelating and freezing. So low band channels 2 through 6, broadcasters just are, unless they have to go there, they just simply aren't there. They will not use it. And talking with some of the engineers moving forward, many of them are likely will not participate to go to low band. It just, if you're going to be in the game, you either want to be on VHF high or UHF, if you're serious about being a broadcaster. There is a mistake in that first paragraph. Anybody pick that out? If you do, I'll get you a prize. Specifically, starting from here to here.
It's not the definition of VHF, is it?
VHF high band is...
Shouldn't that go up to where UHF is?
Nope.
VHF high band?
Specifically with, I'll help you out,
It's a little lower.
this number.
It's something like that.
Anybody know where it starts actually?
Grab one, Tia.
Nope. Channel 7.
7 to 13?
Somebody give me a guess. A wild guess.
Right above FM.
Nope.
Yeah, no, that's proposed.
That's channel 6. It's right below FM. It's actually 176. 176 to 216 megahertz. Darn. Well, we'll see if we can get another one. Give away something else. I caught that later on. That's what happens when you have marketing people do this and not technical guys do this. As mandated by the Spectrum Act, broadcasters that are full power commercial and non-commercial and Class A licenses are able to sell off their broadcast spectrum in the reverse auction to be held in 2016. That's actually about 2 weeks away right now. This move by the FCC allows local TV stations to sell off all or part of their broadcast spectrum. Yes?
Why?
Mobile, internet, they want more frequencies. Right now our band goes from channels 2 through 51. Used to go through 2 through 69. Way back it went 2 through 83. So when they went from 2 to 83 down to 2 to 69, that was the first block of cellular phones way back in the 90s, I think that was. Then in 2009, they went from 2 through 69 to 2 through 51. So 51 through 69 became more cellular frequencies and different things that they were used for. Now it's proposed, that was a mandatory thing. This is not a mandatory deal, which is why you haven't heard anything about it yet. This is voluntary. So broadcasters have 4 options here. They can bid to relinquish their UHF channel to move to either VHF high or VHF low. They can bid to relinquish a high VHF channel to move to a low VHF channel. This most likely is not going to happen. From all the broadcasters that I've talked to and the NAB and other experts in the field, this is not going to happen. Unless it's a translator that somebody just wants out there just so they can have a presence. Bid to relinquish their current channel in order to share a channel with another broadcaster after the auction. So what does that mean? That means, for instance, you can have NBC here and CBS in this market decide, you know what, we're going to share a channel. And then they're each going to have, what is one of the channels? Fox is channel 2, right? What's one of the other channels? NBC or something? 4. So, you know, one channel would be 2-1, the other one would be 4-1. But they'd be transmitting on the same frequency. They're just their content, because of what they're doing with digital and the new format, which I'll get into that shortly. Yeah.
Wouldn't they then be sharing the same bandwidth and
Yes.
less than the core?
No. That gets into the new format, which I'll go into that shortly. Will confuse you even more. Or they can bid to relinquish their license and just go off the air. They're done, they're out of business. So this is happening right now. What's unclear and unknown at this point is how many broadcasters will participate in this reverse auction. Now what's the forward auction? Okay, so the FCC government is buying back these frequencies from the broadcasters, whoever participates. Okay, the forward auction then is now the FCC now throws out and takes bids from people like AT&T and others, Verizon, who want to purchase these frequencies now. So there's a couple unknowns. Unknown is how many broadcasters participate, and that hinges on then what frequencies are left is what determines how things get repacked in the band and who goes where and what channels go where. So this is, and I'll explain a little bit more of that shortly.
Did they have a hard time doing digital on low VHF?
Yes. Yeah.
But it's going to work now?
No. That impulse noise, because it's so low in frequency, electrical noise, you know, if you had a channel 2 in the area, sparkles, all them, that just it raises havoc with the digital signal. The importance of live television will increase as over-the-top, OTT. Have you got anybody heard of OTT? That's a new slang buzzword today. OTT refers to packages like Netflix, Hulu, Sling Tv. You guys heard of all that? Any of those things? That's OTT. That's what they refer to as OTT. The one thing about OTT, and this is a question I'm going to have later on for another prize at some point, is the one thing that OTT doesn't offer is access to local live broadcasts. No. And there's tons of reasons why. So this is a significant opportunity for DigiTennas and installing antennas. Broadcast companies are increasing the number of programs offered. However, a satellite company is not required to carry more than one local station within the DMA that is affiliated with a particular TV network in the same state. So in other words, if you're in this DMA, you're stuck with St. Louis locals. But if you use an antenna, you can go to a different market and pick up other markets. Some people like that option. And a lot of people like all the sub-channels. Antenna TV, this TV, movies, there's all kinds of them now. Where the satellite people just provide the one main channel and that's it. So it's another great opportunity. Here's the new format. When the ATSC 3.0 digital broadcast standard arrives, TV tuners will stop working. Pretty soon it will be out with the TV tuner and in with what? Can you believe it? A converter box.
This is all mandated by who? FCC?
This is
An upgrade on the software firmware?
it's not backwards compatible.
They tested that at the Vegas show in January, that ATSC signal.
Are there any dates for this?
Broadcast some live events, I think on at least 2 bands.
Yeah, there's no dates set just yet because there's a lot of different things going on. Yeah, but this could start hitting at the end of the year if everything goes as planned. And I'll get into a little bit more of dates shortly, but okay, so that's because a new digital broadcast standard called ATSC 3.0 is already in the works. We are still about 2 years away from a final standard, but no, we're not really, we're actually here already. Broadcasters will then have to upgrade all their equipment and existing infrastructure, which is designed to work with the current ATSC 1.0 standard. DigiTenna design may not change. We don't have to change anything for this. But some competitors will have issues on, and UHF antennas will have considerable difficulty receiving lower frequency channels, particularly VHF high band. Okay, well, why is that important? Well, in a market like St. Louis, where you're strictly all UHF, when the band gets repacked, there are going to be a couple channels in this market that will go back to VHF high band. Okay, that's significant because most everybody in this area probably has UHF only antennas and they don't work real well on VHF high band. So there is going to be a significant market opportunity not only in St. Louis but many other parts of the country. Peoria is one of them. South Bend, Indiana is another UHF only. Now, here are the good things, okay? There are advantages to ATSC 3.0 digital broadcast standard. TV spectrum is used more efficiently than the current standard, i.e. that's how you can have 2 major broadcast networks on the same channel, because it's used more efficiently. It includes better compression. Broadcasters can transmit higher quality 4K signals with high quality immersive audio to those Ultra HD TVs. That's huge. Here's the other cool thing. Broadcasters have the option to offer multiple channels within the same bandwidth. We already have that now. Plus the ability to simultaneously broadcast to TVs in the home and to mobile users on smartphones and tablets. Currently can't do that. ATSC 3.0 digital broadcast standard is based on Internet Protocol and will let broadcasters transmit content developed for and sent over the Internet. This will allow creation of new hybrid services and TV broadcasters with greater interactivity.
I thought it was going to be broadcast over the internet.
What it's going to allow them to do is come up with internet packages like Netflix, Hulu, Sling. Yes, you would. You still need it for all the live local news and broadcasts and everything else. It's a marriage between off-air antenna and internet. So your TV will not only be connected to the internet, but it will still have to have the antenna to get all the local live stuff.
So when they say broadcasters transmit content, that's not programming?
It may be a subscription service, don't know. It may be the Cardinals. And it's maybe one of the channels, CBS says, hey, we're gonna put all the Cardinals out on this internet. And I don't know how they're gonna do this all yet, but this gives them the opportunity to do stuff like this. Or anybody, for that matter. So it's really opened up the garage door of opportunity for the broadcasters, which now one wonders how many are going to participate in this auction coming up. So that's the big question mark. This is, I know, new for you guys. So if you got questions, fire away, because
Well, aren't the broadcasters, I mean, they're gonna fight this. They're not gonna wanna do this right away. They just got through spending a whole bunch of
It's
money, right?
voluntary?
I mean,
it's voluntary, yeah. The repacking, there is some fighting going on, there's some different things going on, but ultimately this is a good thing for the broadcasters.
And if they stay where they are,
They may or may not. It all depends on how many participate.
would that advance the ATSC? Or does it have to be VHF?
Don't know. There's where all the unknowns come in.
so the ATSC 3.0 isn't going to, they're not saying this is gonna happen, period, here, you have to do it.
Yeah, yes, it will.
Well, there's
Eventually.
opportunity to sell their programming
Yeah.
through Amazon, Hulu.
Yeah, it opens up the different sources with how the content is being delivered. Currently with ATSC 1, you can't do any of these things because it's not an IP-based signal. Well, now this is an IP-based signal, so you can broadcast it and you can via over the air, but you can also broadcast it via internet. And it has to do with how the modulation scheme is transmitted, okay? That's where it gets a little confusing. It's highly technical stuff.
When you're really talking about the people, because we just went through this, it doesn't seem like all that long ago, and people, the consumers, weren't real happy. They're not, I mean.
They're still steaming.
Right, they still are we still hear people all the time that are complaining and, about having to have a converter box and all this other stuff is changing. They're gonna do it again. I just think you're gonna anger a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know.
That, before, didn't it get pushed back and back and back because there was a lot of stuff?
That's the question, is how much will this get pushed back? I've got an article to read about that relates to that, and I'll read that at the end, that answers some of those questions. This Accenture research was basically talking about TV of the future. Because there were questions asked, well, what's going to happen to TV? Is TV here or not? Is it going to be all smartphones and tablets? And they did this research in early 2016, and they said, fact is, TV is here to stay. It's a role in delivering compelling viewing experiences, collective and individual, and will continue. However, the big screen in the living room is indeed undergoing a metamorphosis, because what goes on behind the screen is changing dramatically. And those are the things we just talked about with the ATSC 3.0. There's going to be winners in this business, and some of these are going to take putting pressure on the cable companies from OTT providers. There's just a whole opportunity for content providers here. But the truth is, the living room screen remains a dominant communications medium and will continue to be there.
So the TV manufacturers have to change their protocol on their tuners?
Yes.
Play catch up like they did before?
Yes.
The TV manufacturers are pushing it because in about 2 or 3 years, they reach the saturation point, so they have to come out with a.
Now, you may most likely not have, well, there might be converter boxes made too, but there'll most likely be stuff that you can just plug into your HDMI port that'll convert it, and you screw your antenna onto a little dongle or something, and that's your, your upgrade. So, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as it was in 2009 with all these converter boxes, because by now most people have flat screens with HDMI ports. Now, do they have enough HDMI ports? Don't know, because now you've got to use one for a potentially new tuner. Another thing that happened recently was the FCC opened up the window for manufacturers to now produce cable set-top boxes. Consumers no longer have to rent a box from their cable company. So you're going to have manufacturers beginning to make converter boxes, set-top boxes for cable companies. For whatever cable company you have, it has a software chip in it that is programmable to any cable provider. So what I think may happen is these boxes, and I've read articles on this, these boxes will have off-air tuners in them, because the cable companies may not provide local broadcasts anymore because of all these must-carry rights and these disputes on retransmission fees. And they may say, well, you know what, forget it, Mr. Broadcaster. There's an antenna input on the converter box, set-top box. You want local broadcasts? Put an antenna on it. Now the market just went from 5-10 million people to whatever, 101 million households, 110 million households for potential antenna users. So there's a lot of changes, guys, coming. You do some Google researching on this. There's a new term coming out. It's called prosumer. Is entering the language to describe talented amateurs who use sophisticated but affordable consumer technology to produce quality news reports or instructional videos, for instance. So instead of getting your news from ABC, NBC, CBS, you got all these amateurs out there now that are making their own content and putting it on the internet. So you could have a local broadcast station here, like Fox Channel, decide, hey, we don't want to use this anymore. We're gonna get it from this guy. So I don't know where the limit is with this. There really is no limit. Content provision is just opened up to just about anything you want now, and the bundled services are going to be dead within the next couple of years. There's high, services that you pay $120 a month for with all these channels you never watch. You'll be able to pick what you want. But that being said, local broadcasts usually will not be provided on internet, and there's different reasons why.
Doesn't that contradict what the previous slide said, though? Because it said that they're going to be allowed to broadcast content over the internet.
Yeah, but not their content that they do. They can do both, over the air and via the internet. So they'll do both. The problem with streaming live television and broadcasts over the internet is that the quality isn't there that you can get yet. But from everybody I've talked to, the broadcasters, and there's a couple of them, and I can't say too much at this point, but that are looking at doing subscription services over the air. A 14 or 15 channel movie package. And you get a HDMI, plug it in, hook your antenna to it, and for $15 a month you get 10 channels of different movie channels. So there's all kinds of different ways that this is going to get used. It's going to change what we currently know. It's a paradigm shift. It is going to be different. So remember that word prosumer, because it's a new buzzword.
How does that change the effects? Like Jim may have installed 100 TVs in the last 10 years and used a particular kind of antenna. Will you have to change all those now?
Depends. Is this in the St. Louis market here?
Yeah.
If it's the UHF only antennas that you've been putting up, it's very possible that they may not work if a couple of them shift to VHF high band. Don't know. Because there's many things I don't know. I don't know what channels they're going to go to, how high they're going to be, how much power they're going to put out, and I don't know the effects of the new ATSC 3.0 format or signal is supposed to be more robust. They may work, they may not.
Would you put up a second antenna and tie them together somehow, or like one antenna would cover?
Most people don't want to do that. Yeah, you can do that. We actually are going to be coming out with a product that allows you to do that with a built-in combiner. So this is for future stuff, but yes, you could do that. Some people want that, some people don't. If it's in an attic, who cares what you put in there? But if it's also in an attic, understand this, that the lower in frequency you go, the more susceptible it is to impulse noise. So you throw a VHF antenna in an attic and you're asking for trouble. That's just a known fact, because impulse noise at the lower frequencies is more prevalent, and that causes pictures to freeze. I don't know a lot about how the new format's going to work, nor does anybody else. At VHF, I just talked to a consulting firm that had done some studies on the impacts of ATSC 3.0 on VHF high band, and they came back pretty good. So it is a more robust signal. How much more robust? We don't know.
Supposedly it's got a wider range or longer distance capability?
It's less susceptible to interferences, let's put it that way. The error corrections and stuff that they're doing with it.
Probably will certainly keep their virtual channel numbers.
Yes.
The branding.
Yes, the branding, correct. You still may not know what you'll eventually know what they're going to transmit it on, but you know, they will keep their virtual channels, absolutely, because they're branded that way, yes. The ascent of the consumer requires business models that are built around consumer needs rather than those of a particular channel, platform, or advertiser. A single shared view of the customer, often across different channels, is a prerequisite for a successful consumer-focused multi-platform strategy. So no longer is it going to be, all right, Mr. Jones, we're the cable company, here's what you get, here's how much it is. Now it's driven around the consumer. It's not driven around what the cable companies want to sell you or the dish packages want to sell you. It's driven around you. Again, completely different shift from what we've known. This here is some stuff. CBS is following the same model set forth by Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and even Crackle in the online streaming marketplace. Exclusive original content is king. Exclusive programming has been identified as the way to cut through the clutter and gain new subscribers. Netflix has the Marvel series Amazon, The Man in the High Castle, and Hulu has the upcoming Stephen King joint, whatever that is. So these are things that, you know, they're coming up with their own little shows now and marketing it that way. The Dish own Sling. How many of you guys know of Sling TV, that internet-based subscription service? Okay, it's called Sling TV, the skinny bundle. I actually have it. I've had it for about a year and a half now. Got it almost when it first came out. It has ESPN, ESPN2, TNT, TBS, History 2, HGTV, TLC, Travel Channel. It's about 35 channel package, and it's $20 a month. It's based over the internet. And it's month to month, there's no contract. It's the greatest package. I was able to watch all the NCAA games because it had TBS, TNT, and True. And of course, CBS was over the air. That particular package is gaining a lot of traction. Dish Network actually came out with this because they saw the pressure that was coming and saw they were losing subscribers because of cost and the bundling. So they came up with this. Now we heard that DirecTV is coming out with something similar as an IP-based package. Again, no contracts. The beauty of these is they don't have to provide any equipment. That's why there's no contracts. You go get yourself a Roku box or whatever it is that they, you know, for the interface, and it's all on you. And then you punch in a few things and bam, you got it. So there's no satellite dish provided, there's no satellite installer provided, there's no receivers needed. It's IP based.
So is that why Direct and AT&T joined for that?
There's a lot of moving parts right now. There's a lot of strategies going on out there amongst the broadcasters, amongst the big guys. We're going to see changes like we've never seen before in the next 2 to 3 years. So tie a knot at the end of the rope and hang on. But it is going to provide a ton of opportunity for you guys because the general public is going to be lost. You think it was bad in 2009, you wait. This will be worse. Lynch said they hope to eventually have local stations, but stressed they didn't want to create a bundle that was too expensive by paying too much for them. In many ways, the broadcast community wasn't ready to negotiate those kind of deals. This is where we talked about, you know, the broadcast being on the internet. ABC can't do it, meaning negotiate a national agreement because of all the local affiliate agreements. That's where all the problems come in. You know, ABC has local affiliates that are self-owned, they're O&O, and that's where all this trouble comes in with negotiating things, and they'll never be able to reach those agreements because they're never going to get everybody to all agree on how much and who and all that. She said, over time, local is something we will offer, but to a certain extent, they're not ready. Some say they'll never be ready because you'll never get them all to agree to a contract. He stressed that the deal with broadcasters or any other programmer has to be priced appropriately. Too high would have missed the market they were targeting. Services like Sling TV were segmenting the market to reach a growing segment of viewers who found traditional pay TV services too expensive or not mobile enough. Because I have Sling, I can watch Sling on my phone too, or tablet, or whatever, and I can watch it wherever. That's the neat thing about Sling. Over the air is growing, and the growth in antenna sales is correlated with cord cutting. There's a direct correlation. And I don't even know if you're going to call it cord cutting anymore because it's going to be something so different. It's going to be almost a necessity to have an antenna of some sort, whether it's a wireless internet, because these frequencies that are being sold off, you're going to have companies buying these frequencies up to provide wireless internet to pressure the cable companies' market on the pipeline. So it's truly a wireless world. It's 9:45. Whoops. What happened here? Somehow I got to the end and I wasn't supposed to. We can take a little break here. If you guys want to get up, move around a little bit. We'll reconvene in about 10 minutes, about 5 to 10 for the technical part of it. You can absorb some of this stuff, and I'll get my slides back where it was.